When you're dealing with the thoughts and feelings of depression, the worst thing about it is not to understand why. That's the late, great Robin Williams. Today we will look at depression. We will look at the causes, symptoms, and just how to treat this mental health disorder. My name is Travis. Let's get right into it. Depression is a mental illness with symptoms that affects a person's thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Although depression is very widespread, it is poorly understood by society. Depression affects 10% of the world's population, but most of the population are still unknowledgeable about it. Stereotypes tell society that people with depression are emotionally weak. It can be difficult for us to understand because we can't see it. It's invisible. It's a disorder that's defined by thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And it doesn't have the same obvious symptoms like somebody vomiting, meaning they're sick, a rash, a fever. Those who have experienced depression are familiar with misguided comments made by people such as "get over it," "snap out of it," or "just get your behind up and do something, stop laying there." Those with depression will have a tough time identifying what they are feeling and experiencing during these times. And often they blame themselves for not being able to get over it or snap out of it. To understand what depression really is, we need to go over the symptoms. They include an overwhelming feeling of sadness, anger, hopelessness, or guilt. Next are the behavior-related symptoms. They include social withdrawal, lack of motivation, lack of energy, and poor concentration skills. They can also include sleep problems or changes in your appetite. Finally, the symptoms related to thoughts include poor self-esteem, suicidal thoughts, no interest in activities that you're normally very interested in doing. Symptoms of depression, to be considered depression, must last at least 1 week, but they can go as far as months or even years afterwards, depending on the intervention. A person who experiences depression once is more likely to have another episode later on. It is difficult to think of these thoughts, feelings, and behaviors as symptoms. To many of us, it seems like these are decisions these people are making, like someone who is depressed wants to be depressed. In most cases, with someone that has depressive disorder, this is not the case. They are not like that because they want to be. They're like that because they have to be, and they haven't found any other way. And we always must remember, what's in your head is not imaginary. Our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are influenced by a complex of chemicals in our brain. The exact cause of depression is unknown. We still have an idea of the factors that influence it. We know that changes in hormones in the brain that are called neurotransmitters can have a major impact on depression. Many medicines work with depression by increasing the levels of these transmitters. We also know that genetics plays a major role in depression. That's why it's always important to know our family history, people. People who have a history with their family of depression are more than likely to experience depression themselves. It doesn't mean they have to, but more than likely they could. Just because your parents had depression doesn't mean that you will, but your likelihood has increased because of the fact that your parents had depression, if that makes sense. Finally, we know environmental factors play a role in depression as well. living in poverty, experiencing traumatic events from the past, or other stressful situations can easily trigger this disorder if you have it. Depression doesn't always have a clear trigger, which often leads to a person not understanding why they feel so down. Nothing necessarily happened in your life, it just hit you. Treatment for depression includes psychotherapy and medication management. Either can work on its own, but the combination of both have been found to be most effective. People, mental health is real. Depression is real. If you see somebody experiencing any of these symptoms, don't be so hard on them. Don't rush and jump the gun and think they're just doing that. They may need to have an evaluation to determine if it is depression. So if it's lasting longer than a week, you might want to get that person some help. And if it's you might want to get yourself some help. If you like anything I said in this video, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. You already know I'm open to all comments. I'm going to continue this series of mental health for the rest of this month. And until next time, the Libra Man is out.